When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thanks for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Look who's here, my friend.
Woo! Back at it, baby. Saturday afternoon.
that's
Dougie Fresh in the house. Loving it.
Yeah. We're in a popular part of town right now.
We are. There is a lot going on.
And I'm avoiding it all.
You are wise. A lot of beautiful people out there. A lot of booze.
I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I got a lot.
You got a lot on your plate.
I have a lot of... and things are starting to turn around. The tide's starting to turn a little bit here.
Yeah? You got a bigger oar?
Yeah, I got a big oar, buddy. I got a big oar. I want to start out because the last time you were on, I told the story of getting out of my bubble and going to J Street.
Yes.
Yes. And I got a letter, an email. Not a letter, but an email. You can always email bill@billmoranproductions.com.
You got to shorten that, but go ahead.
Well, you can't because somebody smartly sucked up my original name.
Oh.
And we're trying to, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I never talked about that because I have a feeling I know who it was. But as soon as I named the podcast and I didn't do a website right away and I went to get a website, it was taken. It doesn't matter. Bill and Billified.
Bill and Billified.
Says the email. I just listened to your recent podcast, and I'm absolutely furious about your comments regarding J Street, and specifically the woman you mentioned as having an obituary tattooed on her neck.
Yes, I do remember that, yeah.
That's a human being you were talking about. Someone who clearly has suffered unimaginable loss. And the way you laughed, I don't think I laughed. I don't think we laughed. I'd have to go back. And I meant to, but I'm moving to, so my time has been limited. I don't remember laughing or mocking. It was just an observation. And
I didn't think it was an obituary. I think I misheard. I thought it was just names.
It was names. I called it an obituary on her neck.
Oh, okay.
I did do that.
Because I have worked with, in the bar business, strip bar business, people that have 3 or 4 names.
Yes. Where?
Like, on their neck, on their arm, they keep changing boyfriends or whatever.
Yeah.
And they give 4 or 5 names. I'm like, who are these guys? Well, I thought I was going to work out. And then there's the story of this guy. Go ahead.
Let me interrupt myself with this here. I'm just saying, to me, neck tattoo, bad decision. And that's all. It doesn't mean that it's, if you're a tattoo artist, maybe not. But, usually it's not, somebody was just in here and they go, yeah, I'm going to go over, he and his crew, the Billionaires Club. Nobody's got tattoos on their neck, and they all do make a lot of money. Whatever. Mocked or dismissed her pain, came off elitist and incredibly out of touch. You sounded like a privileged jerk, and whether you intended it or not, your words were full of judgment. People like you who look down your nose at others based on where they live or how they express their grief are the exact reason communities like J Street are so often misunderstood and maligned. You think it's okay to mock someone's story because it doesn't fit your narrow view of what quote-unquote acceptable looks like. It's not okay. Judging people for how they live or mourn or survive is never okay. You owe that woman and your audience better. Next time you get behind the mic, remember you're talking about real people. Maybe try some compassion. Or is that too much to ask from someone who clearly enjoys punching down? Signed, Disgusted. And the email was busybee@me.com. You can get an at me. So you could get one. I could get one. They are there. So I have no idea who it was, and I did not respond. But I want to say something about judging and profiling because we are told how bad that is. And I will say this. We certainly profile dogs. Do we not? If I'm walking down the street and I see an aggressive dog, what am I doing?
Crossing the street.
Why?
Because you think something's going to happen?
Yeah, Right.
You don't want to take that chance.
Right. And if I was walking a little dog and a bigger dog that seems a little aggressive comes along, what did I do?
Cross the street.
Yeah.
Just avoid it.
So when it comes to people, it's the same thing. And I know people, I judge people. 2 women, lovely ladies, started doing a podcast. They asked, I tried to shoo them away, and then they came back and said, no, we really want this. And I knew the day we were doing it, I knew they were going to be late. Why did I know they were going to be late? Because I knew that they were a couple of broads like that. That's what they were going to do.
When does stereotyping stop? I mean, how many years have we gone with just thinking that that's going to happen? And 99.9% of the time, it's going to happen. Or you think, Charlotte opened up last week with a nice weather.
Yeah.
And there's been fights, guns.
Look,
and you're just like, you
I'm
don't want
sorry.
it to happen.
No, but can't you?
I'm not like, hey, see, I told you it was going to happen. I don't want it to happen. I want peace.
But if you tell me, like, I've got somebody who is a really disciplined military guy, and that's an old babysitter of mine. Could have him come in and tell you stories from when I was a kid. He was, honest to God, he babysat me down where I grew up, and then he went to Geneseo and stayed here, married that woman. They've been married for nearly 30 years. There's people walking by the studio. I apologize. But I'm going, you can just judge somebody who's very disciplined. I know they're Doug. Here's the thing. I could profile Doug. I know Doug is always going to be early, so I try to make sure that I'm ready to go by the time Doug gets here. Now, it was a little different today, but I try to make sure that when Doug's usually 20 minutes early. I know that. If it's other guys, if it's I'll say one and he'll get mad at me. But Danny, I always know we're going to be 5 minutes late. I could just tell. And Danny is a guy who tries really hard to do all these things. He's good, but I just know he doesn't have that discipline. You are a wrestler. You have that discipline.
Well, I've changed my discipline. I mean, I used to be late all the time to work, hungover, and so
all right.
As I got older, and this has been the last 20 years. But I also, there was also first impressions are lasting.
Yes.
I don't hear that anymore.
No.
How you dress, how you hold yourself, if you're shaving or not, if you're on time or late, and not knowing somebody, and that's what I'm looking at. You're instantly just gonna judge.
Doug,
everybody does it.
Doug, I'm a single man.
You are.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
I go out in the wild sometimes.
You go
right.
And
if I'm looking for an easy mark, an easy kill, it's a woman that makes bad decisions. She usually has a tongue piercing and a tattoo on her hand. Bad decisions. That's all I'm saying.
If she smokes,
she pokes. Yes. You know what I mean?
I know.
And
exactly
I know that it sounds shitty and people get mad, but everybody, you are such a fucking liar if you say you aren't maybe judging like whatever, but I'm judging what could happen. I'm profiling what could happen. And so when I walked down J Street dressed as I wasn't super comfortable. And by the way, neither was the business having me in there. So they were judging me too.
They were profiling you.
Come
absolutely.
on. I mean, it's just what we do, and I don't mean it to be elitist or mean. I'm nice to people.
Why do you think that we think J Street's bad? I mean, how did that get the rep? Lyle Avenue, lots of hookers. How did we get to that? Because people that drive home, like, you wouldn't believe this fucking hookers on Lyle.
Right.
And then you tell somebody at work, and then somebody tells you that.
Right.
And then you might drive down. I go home down Lyle a lot. I just like to people watch. It is crazy out there.
Yes, it is.
So maybe I don't do it every day. A couple times a week. I'm done Ubering. I'll just change my route home and just do a little people watching.
Yeah.
And to judge or just be like, unbelievable, shake my head.
Maybe
get a giggle, but also a lot of sadness.
Yes, there's a lot of sadness.
So just
look, I don't know if there's
that's why we call it people watching.
A right or wrong answer, but I don't think that a little bit of judgment is bad. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this: I don't think a little bit of shame is necessarily bad. You know, I mean, if we shamed people, would I be walking into if there was a little more shame? And this is what's different about I don't know if it's every person that's young. I can't say that, but I feel like, and it could be different things, but that young people are a little more sensitive to
because they've been trained to be that way.
Why?
The past 10 years.
But by whom? Like
teachers,
each other.
Teachers.
I don't even know, because
that would be my guess.
I guess, but they have parents and stuff. But when I say things like, even to my kid, it'll be like, oh, or like,
I'm traumatized.
If you're gonna do that, take the pajama bottoms off and fucking put on pants. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Now look, I'm dealing with a teenager and who's looking at things.
You're
and
doing
seeing
what?
Things. I'm looking at a teenager.
No, you're doing what?
You're judging.
Dealing.
I'm dealing.
With them.
All right.
And that's what you have to do with life. You just can't say, well, I've had enough. I'm going to my room. No, you have to deal with it. You have to confront it.
Right.
You have to get through it.
Yes.
That's what being adult, from going from a child to going into an adult, is. Daddy and mommy are going to take care of this. When you get to an adult, you've got to take care of it.
So I'm dealing with but someone who's a teenager who sees this as comfortable, and all their peers are dressing that way in school and elsewhere. Okay. I understand it. You don't want to stand out. You want to fit in. Every teenager has done that
throughout time. Sure.
You got it. But what if we had a little more shame? Would I see it when I went into Walmart? Would I see it when I go to Wegmans? Even I don't see it that often. Yes.
Feel about themselves well?
Yes. I see lots of fucking pajamas. Why do I need to see pajamas?
I don't get that either.
And
it just seems
personally,
so lazy
I don't care. But since this thing came up, I go, yeah. Maybe we need to judge a little bit more. Maybe we need to. Mayor Pete Kennedy walking by. Used to be, yeah. It's on his way. Oh, the boys are here to drink. Let me tell you something. This is a tough day for me. This will be a tough day for me because I am going to leave. I have to go. I have other things I got to do today, and it's going to be very hard for me to leave.
Are you supposed to meet anybody out? Or
no, I haven't even. I have stayed.
Have you gotten texts like, "Hey, I'll"?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Okay. I've had my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Okay. Good. Good. You got to get shit done. Sometimes
I know.
Yeah.
I got stuff I got to do. But Doug, it's going to be hard. It's going to be. See, again, judging that all the fun I'm going to miss.
I don't know if that's
judging.
Wishing you could be part of it.
No, but is it bad?
Everybody just naturally does it.
That's what I'm saying. Is it bad if we equate it to like dogs and it's about your survival, or I'm not going to walk through the woods at night in the dark because with beef jerky in my fucking pocket.
I don't Uber at night anymore.
Right? Okay. Why?
There's too many things going on. There's crazy drivers. There's people driving without headlights.
Yep.
Safety issues.
Right.
It seems to be more drunk people on drugs just walking into traffic.
You're right.
I don't want to hit them. Right. I don't want to kill anybody. Am I judging them? That's just who that person is. If I see somebody,
but I'm making a decision based on information, and I don't know how to address the letter specifically for that. Maybe I shouldn't have made mockery in some way of she had an obituary on her neck, but that's what it was. There were years, beginning and end, and what looked like a name, and there was 2 or 3 of them. And I've seen
that on a bunch of people.
You could do that on another part of your body. It's on your neck. And I go, that usually is somebody like you go, all right. I think a lot of people do. Go get a job. Tell me, where are you working?
Go get a job. There's no more interviews. You don't show up, dress 15 minutes early. Now it's all online.
Oh,
that's another.
Yeah. Well, I thought because like my kid has an interview Wednesday at 5 in person, but the initial stuff was online. You're right. Yeah. And I said to him, we got to make sure you got this, and when you're dressed and you go in there. You got to make sure that's it.
Well, maybe it was a bad call. Maybe they took it a little wrong. Hopefully there's nothing offended. We obviously joke a lot on this program for a lot of people.
Yes.
And is that the first email in 3 years that you've received about somebody being offended?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, no. No. I only brought it up because you were here when it happened.
Oh, now it's my fault.
No.
Throw me under the bus.
No, I'm reading this one to you.
No hablo inglés y me go to SODA.
No, it is not. Believe me. I once, we did a podcast from out at a restaurant, and I mocked somebody, but they couldn't hear us because we didn't have a speaker so you could hear the podcast.
Right.
So it would be like being at the bar and talking shit about somebody at the other end of the bar. So we did that into microphones. And then one of these people, I think we called them the Cougar Corner, because there was a bunch of like women, but they were from the West Side. They were at an East Side establishment. We were making fun into the microphones. We got one of them to come up. And so because that one came up, they all listened. and their family listened. And I said, even when you're old, there's still the big fat friend. And a guy came in and
wait a minute.
That might be me. No. You understand?
I know what you mean.
Did you ever hear the song Big Fat Friend?
No.
I got a bump with Big Fat Friends.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites.
All right.
It's from Stephen Lynch. He's a comedian. And you'll totally get it. But I said, like, this kind of guy came in. He's like, hey. And he knew them, but I didn't know he knew them. And he's over there working them. And he starts kind of joking in this with the fat one and moved his way up to Pretty. And I made note of that. Well, the person I referred to as fat or whatever, apparently
caught wind of it.
Oh, heard it.
Yeah.
Wrote me a big, long thing. I apologized. They still shit on me. Then it was their son. Then it was a person I used to work with in radio who has now blocked me or something.
Wow.
But I will say this person, again, very sensitive. Have you ever experienced this? This is a person who had worked in media their entire career, both television and radio. You're open to criticism. This guy, something was said about him on a program I was on. He was not. And he was very offended. And he came up to me and another person at a party and said, I'm not speaking to you ever again. And the two of us looked at each other like, yeah, okay. And the guy walked away, huffed off, like turned and did this big dramatic thing. And Doug, I no lie, 25 to 30 minutes later comes back and goes, don't you want to know why I'm not talking to you? And the two of us were like fucking lost it in the person's face. That's the kind of person. I go, what is that?
Right.
What is that? I don't understand.
They need to be heard.
Why? I
they
know
need the last word.
But I can't have some, like, if someone said to me, I'm never talking to you again, it might sting a little bit. I might feel bad that I made somebody that upset. I'm going to tell you this. Within a half a day, I'm on to other shit.
Half an hour. Half a minute.
Maybe, but I'm on to other shit.
You know what?
Depends on who
when
it
you're
is.
Younger, I think once you get older, you're like, really?
It's
good.
Just it's drama.
One less thing for me to do at my age.
But it's drama.
Good. Yes.
I don't need
it. No.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm never talking to you. If I said something that, and I'll say things I'm sure that are offensive, but I think are funny.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's at somebody's expense, they may. But if someone goes, I'll never speak to you again, I don't know that I would.
When's the last time you spoke to me?
Well, depends on who it is,
right?
And I may give it a day because I always go. Even a hot potato gets cold eventually, right? Cool off. I get it. All right, so let's just use some logic here. I got it. I understand exactly what's happening, right? You're just hot in the moment. Yeah. But I think that the biggest thing for adults when I see that kind of shit is you are. I'm sorry, I'm going to use the word emotionally retarded. You don't know how to handle your emotions. And I have said many times into a microphone over the years, the one thing every adult needs to do is learn to control their emotions. I get it. I understand it. I get that. But you do not want to be that person. Because
not on a regular basis.
No, but I mean,
but every now and then, even a volcano erupts.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, you don't want to be the person, I'm never talking to you again, or do you know who I am? And you don't want to be that guy. No. You don't want to be that guy. And you just need to, like, and that's where a lot of times just walk away and keep your dignity a little bit. I always think. But each to their own. Each to their own. Doug, we always like jokes, pranks, things like that?
I think so.
I like, I'm not sure. I like that this is happening. I'm not, let me rephrase that. There's a prankster who's getting arrested. Young guy.
Oh.
Okay. I like that there's pranks happening, and I like that I get annoyed when I hear about them because that means I'm old and the world is still turning.
Mm-hmm.
People are still people. Because it's the same shit. And if I'm really honest, because my sons were playing this for me this morning, and I'm like, God, it's so annoying. And they look at me and go, oh, come on. You did all this shit and worse. And I started to think about it. I go, even on the radio, I did things like this. But why now does it annoy me? Like, it annoys me. And I think it's going to annoy you.
Okay.
I think it's going to annoy you.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Because I'm judging.
Right, yes. Because I'm TNT. I got Big Fat Friend. I got to play it next.
welcome my good friend, Mr. Mark Tyke. What's up, Los Angeles? All right. Yes. There you go. How about a big round of applause for my opening act, Stephen Lynch? Huh? What is that? What's in here? Yeah. Since I wrote a song for the ladies, I'd have to do one for the guys as well. So guys, this song is for you. Now let me set this up a little bit, guys. This is a song about, when you're out at the bar and you see that girl across the bar, she's kind of looking at you. That's right, you're looking at her and you got the eye contact and if you play your cards right, things are gonna go okay that night. That's what this song's about. And Tyke's gonna help me sing it. It's called She Got a Smile. Here we go. Is that what it's called? It is tonight, yes. All right. Here we go. She got a smile, yeah, she got a smile, and she flashing it right at me. She got a wink across the bar, and I know that it's meant to be. She got a walk, Tyke, she walking over, and I think it could be my day. She got a friend, she's got a friend, why she's standing in her way. It's a big fat friend. Oh God, there's always one to spoil my fun. Now baby, if it's fruit you wanna knock, leave your chubby friend at home because she's gonna block the car. Now I'm afraid of no man with any I'll contend, but I cannot compete with your big fat friend.
I love this song. I love this. So old. It's like 20 years old.
Yeah, I got you.
Think he got any emails written to him about?
No, because everybody was cool back then and knew what you were talking about. And it was judgment, but he was right.
So big fat friend. We meet again. You won't leave her alone now. You roll your eyes, make sarcastic comments while you're sucking on that chicken bone. Yeah, that's okay. You think you won the battle, but I tend to disagree.
Here we go.
See, I know you and your Achilles heel, and he's standing next to me, my non-discriminating friend. So what? You're a cow. Non-discriminating friend. I'll fuck you anyhow. That's right. Come here. Come here. Well, I know he smells like whiskey and he's had a couple rounds. But with every shot of Jaeger, hey, you lose a couple pounds. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Now, baby, bring the evening to an end. Just you and me and my pal. And your big fat. You and me and my pal. And your big fat. You and me and my pal. And your big fat. You and me and my pal. And your big fat. You and me.
All right, there you go. That's it. Big Fat Friend. I love that song. Stephen Lynch. I don't even know where Stephen is now. He was playing big places for a while.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe just
stand up. No, he's still doing stand up. Yeah. He did that all on stage. He would write these parody songs, and they were or songs. They weren't even parodies. I just love Big Fat Friend because it just speaks to every guy. Every guy knows it right there. Big Fat Friend.
What do you just? Well, I think about all the comedy clubs in America.
Yeah.
And then how many stand-ups there have to be to do an hour set.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah. What does that mean? What are you trying to say?
Sometimes I think about comedy.
Yeah.
And then something like that. I've never heard of the guy, but he's made a career out of doing comedy.
Oh, yeah. He was huge. But he was really big in New York. And there you go, Dougie. Dougie. Don't miss out.
Wow.
Hey,
Hubba.
Dougie.
Yeah. I'd go down on that like the Titanic.
Yeah, Stephen Lynch has been. Yeah, he was around for a while. We should make note, since you are here, and I know you knew the guy. I was shocked late last week, we'll say now. Scott Metcalf passed.
Yeah,
58 years old, and I've had a lot of fun with Scott over the years. I will never forget the Calder Cup win in 1993 or 4. Or maybe it was 96. I think it was 96 because I was on the radio at the time. They were playing a team called the Pirates. I think I got a tow truck to come down with a crane, and I'm pretty sure the intern was Kevin. And I dressed him up like a pirate and stuck CDs to him with like duct tape and had people come down and beat the pirate so he was
free
like
CD.
So like he was a piñata.
Okay.
And so he would hit the prize off Kevin. I think I did that.
Wow, that's a good idea.
I think I did that. I don't know that it's a good idea, but I did it. Mm-hmm. That was another one of those dumb things I did. And that was all during Metcalf's. And then I went out with people, and Rochester exploded. The cup was everywhere, and everybody was drinking out of the cup. And I go, I am not putting my fucking lips on that. I am not putting it. This is at the time we were called the chlamydia capital of the world. Not that you're going to get chlamydia that way, but if you got chlamydia, you're a petri dish. And sure enough, fucking strep throat went rampant.
Oh yeah,
rampant. Yeah, because everybody was backwashing back into the fucking Calder cup and then drinking out of it. And I don't even know how Scotty Metcalf survived then. Jeez, but you knew him.
I knew him as a rep. We're just looking up his
hockey stats.
Some stats from Kingston,
Ontario. Yeah,
he was with the Edmonton Oilers, Buffalo Sabres, and he was in Rochester, Nova Scotia. Sabres, Rochester for a long time.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff with. He would come on the radio quite a bit.
I knew the name.
Yeah,
and then I was managing the Blue Room, and he was the rep for Blue Light.
Yeah,
and what a great guy! And the
great guy, loved to talk.
Just wanted to be around.
He was a brawler too. He would get in fights on the ice.
He told me that. I remember this one story. They were shorthanded, and they're like, and he had 1,700 penalty minutes. And I saw that stat, but they were shorthanded there away, and I think the coach said, nobody get in a fight tonight. We can't afford to lose anybody. They're in playoffs or whatever. And this guy sucker punched him. I don't know if it was once or twice. And Scott like, you're lucky. I'm gonna fucking get you the next time. And he waited till they played him again.
Wow, he held off that night.
Yeah, he couldn't.
Wow. No, I know, but
no backups.
Sometimes you just
right. Yeah. He goes, I'm gonna get you though. And he told him. And sure enough, he said, next time we got it didn't even get through the first period. Yeah. I think he said, just leave him to me. I'm gonna ruin this guy. So but just the nicest guy. Then hooked up later. He was coaching down at Lakeshore.
Yes, he was. And
Scotty, big hug. How you doing? Blah blah. Just still the nicest guy.
Yep. That's that was Scott Metcalf.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that either.
They're not saying what it was. I don't know if Scott was sick.
I think that's private with the family.
It is, but
if they decide to release that.
then, I don't know what happened. Yeah. But anyway, yes, a really beloved guy, and I'm glad that you knew him. On to lighter things, since we're talking about pranks and stuff. So I was with two of my three sons, and my youngest son. You have
another son in?
No, I have Jordan. My son Jordan lives here now.
Oh, he does?
He lives over on Park Avenue.
How long has that been?
Ever since he blew out his shoulder and lost the D1 thing because he just couldn't do it after the shoulder surgery.
I didn't know he's living in Rochester.
Yeah, he came back and he's working on his master's.
Oh, okay.
And he's finishing that up online. And I totally missed that. Yeah, he's working he's living on Park Avenue. He's doing I think he's working for a friend whose mom runs an organic farm. He's doing a lot of drywall. Jordan's like me. He likes working with his hands. Yeah. But Jordan is like really bright. And so.
And it was a hammer throw, right?
Yeah.
He can't do that anymore. That's too bad.
Not to the level he wanted to. And it just sort of.
It's a tough, mature decision to make.
Oh, it was a painful one.
Yeah.
It was a painful one. Very painful one for him. Because he had been Division II in undergrad. This was going to be grad, but he had one more year of eligibility because of COVID, and he got on to St. Louis, University of St. Louis. Yeah, and so he had moved down there and all that, and then just decided, you know what, it's too painful to just be here, so I'm going to come back. I'll finish online. I can do it online. And and he was working at one place, didn't really like it. Lots of conversations, and I said to him, "You're 23. You should just be as much as you can just be. You should be doing jobs like hanging drywall and mudding because it's great experience. Learning how to organic farm is not a bad thing at all.
Buy a shitty house, remodel it while you're young, while you got the energy. Somewhere, like J Street. I mean, J Street in Canandaigua.
He said, so I'm like, and it doesn't mean you're gonna have to stay here, but don't tie yourself to like this. He had a job that there was a lot of sales pressure, all this stuff, and he was complaining, and they promised him a promotion, and then they said to him, well, your numbers aren't good enough. And I'm like, walk away. Just walk away. You're gonna make as much money as they're paying you doing something else. And if you get it under the table, that means it's even more money.
2-week notice.
Yeah, no, he did. Okay. He did all that. And it was
looking back, if I was younger and coming out of college, I wouldn't have gone into retail. I had already been working at Kidney Shoes. I went back into the thing. It was prestigious to be a manager, but I would have got into construction more. And then, I mean, hindsight is 20.
Well, he's got a.
If you do get it, I've known guys that take houses, remodel them, make them nice, and then sell them, make a huge profit, and then get a little bigger house and a little bigger house. One guy Ubered. He said he flipped his 7th house, and he goes, "I'm getting the divorce." And my wife waited for this house, and she just had enough of me doing this, and now she's taking the best house I've ever made. I'm just like, that sucks.
Yeah. So Jordan, but he'll have a master's in cybersecurity. So
what's the prank?
So this prankster, it goes by the name of Tommy Tough Knuckles.
Okay.
Tommy Tough Knuckles, 21-year-old guy. Tommy Tough Knuckles does bits like, I'll play you a series of the bits and just kind of see if you can pick up on it. Some of them are a little more visual, but I think from the audio, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
What are we doing?
I'm doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
You can't do it in here.
I nominate LeBron James and Fetty Wap.
All right, so now we're...
Oh, my God.
Okay. So he's in a store up by the cash registers with a giant, like,
bucket of ice?
Bucket, but it's not even a bucket. This is like something, it's a tote. You would store shit in this. It's huge. And he stands at the front of the store, inside the store, and dumps it over his head. That's why you hear the woman say, "You can't do it in here." And he does the ice bucket challenge right in there. Then he goes to another store, and let's say this could be a Walmart. I have no idea. And he just screams at the top of his lungs. Hey, Doug, get over here!
Yeah, this isn't a prank. This is just an idiot annoying. Yeah.
Kenneth, I need your help.
Get the fuck out.
Huh?
Out now.
It was on me.
I was
now, while he's talking.
Dude, look, it was on me.
Look, dude, I don't care. Get out.
Another guy is yelling. One of his friends walks in. So he gets busted, but then that guy's going to yell over there. So sometimes it works. Okay. So these are some of the pranks. Yes.
I was going to say, I have seen some of these.
Yep.
And some of the videos that these guys are doing and just being annoying, and this is funny. You've got a veteran, be it Marine, Navy, whatever, and they just had enough, and they just come over and they fucking knock the guy out.
They did.
Get out, stop her. You're gonna find out what real pain is.
Great.
And they don't give a fuck.
No,
they've fought with guns and trenches,
right?
And this guy's annoying and bothering them, and that's what happens. Then.
That is the Monroe County Sheriffs that just walked by. Our friend Sheriff Hurley.
Oh, God bless him.
Yes.
Three of you guys, come on, bro.
We saw four you walking together.
Four? We're not. Literally, that's me and him, bro.
Don't care. Please leave now.
Put the iPhone in my ear.
So now he walks into a Boost Mobile. He has. I'm sorry. I'm going to laugh at this one. Has a stocking over his head like he's going to hold the place up. And he's got a bag out, he's got a bag in his hand, but listen to what he's screaming at the top of his lungs at the Boost Mobile guy.
Put the iPhones in my ass! Put the iPhone in my ass!
You didn't stutter?
Put it in my ass!
No, he's trolling.
Please!
That's just stupid. You don't know who's in there. It could be an old lady, could scare somebody with a heart problem.
Doug, okay. Now go back 30, 40 years. Not funny?
I think it's dumb.
Not funny.
Screaming at the top of the lungs.
Can you go back? That is, I didn't like those. But 30, 40 years to scream, shove it in my ass? Look, I was on the radio. I would call places and I would ask, I would call the South. I would call bars nonstop from a production room and then play back on the radio. Nonstop. And I would finally get one and I'd go, hey, is Anita there? Anita who? Anita Pecker. Anita Pecker, and it would be funny. It was every Bart Simpson joke, but people would still fall for it.
You're not in the middle of a story yelling, "Stick it in my ass."
I am not, but even that though, if I had a buddy that did that, I would totally encourage that. I mean, I just would. Now wait. Now here's another one where they decide to go, and what they do is they find people selling really high-end, expensive things on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. And then what they do is, so like they're going to look at a guy who has a $70,000 boat, and then they try to lowball him. And some of them, they'll go, what if I give you $15,000 in a PlayStation 2?
There again, that's fine. But you think that's funny.
Well, they're taping these through like Meta glasses, so the people don't know. Now, I think I'm not sure in New York State. This kid's in New Jersey, and you'll hear what happened. But I think in New York State, I thought you could have one party consent for recording. I don't know, but here's this.
My name's Dom. This is my friend Tommy Tough Knuckles.
How you doing, Tommy?
And this is my negotiator.
Yeah, there's no negotiating.
They're on the guy's driveway.
You climb in first, Tommy.
Now, what they're doing is they're climbing into the boat. The boat is covered, but it has a zip because it's been stored all winter on land.
Yeah, no, dude, come on. Get out of here. Come on, let's go.
Want to take a look in there?
Yeah, I'll hop in.
Yeah, what's that little screen on there? That's GPS?
Yeah.
Like the button right for the handbrake.
There's no brake in a boat. Oh, get out of the boat.
I'm not even playing around.
There's no brake in a boat.
He's already annoyed.
Get lost. Do me a favor.
I can't throw it over?
The boat's $52,000.
Right.
I'm not wasting.
These are my little brothers. They're just looking.
Don't disrespect. You don't know what you're talking.
Yeah.
Ross. It's an galvanized aluminum trailer.
They're my little brothers. I'm sorry.
There's a brake. It's a fucking boat. Boats don't have brakes.
You are a jackass for that, bro.
Come on, man. All right.
Could you do 15,000?
How much?
15.
Dude, get the fuck out of here.
Okay. I don't find that funny at all. My kid thinks it's fucking hilarious. And what made me want to play all this is I'm like, hey, the world is still turning, because I would have probably found something like that funny years ago. I just find it annoying. It's a dick. It's like, you're wasting my time. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for you to dick around and be funny. Now, this guy also screams, I'm the reason eggs are so expensive. And he has 50 eggs broken, all mixed up into one of those containers, stands in front of Doug's starting to fucking laugh. Stands and
do the AL channel.
Yeah, basically, but stands in front of a store, goes, I'm the reason eggs are so expensive, and dumps them over his head. Now, here's the thing that would piss me off again. I don't like the waste of food. I should probably not like the waste of water, but I don't like wasting food. And egg is a fucking pain in the ass to clean up. It's a pain in the ass on your sidewalk or whatever. It starts to smell. You can't get it off, especially if it's warm. It will literally start to cook. It will. And it's just gross. So I find all that fucking annoying. But and this is what the guy does. Well, listen to this, Doug.
In an area of social media, when people push pranks to the craziest limits, all to increase their clicks and likes, stuff can get out of control pretty fast. Kyle Vasquez has gained a following, performing some pretty odd pranks, like dumping food over his head in public. But it's some stunts that took place behind closed doors that have now landed him on the radar of the Suffolk County Police. Here's Stacey Sager.
Kyle, you wanted attention, now you got it. Kyle Vasquez is used to chasing likes on TikTok, but not much to like about this obscene gesture at court today.
Hey, flips off the camera.
What? We're not doing that.
Then he tried to barge out a side door in conflict with the officers that were here to escort him out. The 21-year-old from Coram, known as Tommy Tough Knuckles on TikTok, facing 8 separate criminal counts today for viral videos like this one.
I'm Tommy Tough Knuckles, and I'm the reason why these egg prices are so high.
But what he's also chasing.
Okay. See, look at, even you're losing it.
I was just thinking of his parents.
Yeah, right. But
guy's a fucking idiot.
I'm laughing so hard. I'm getting a cramp. I'm not kidding. I'm getting a
It's not as good as the Cheetos bit. But did he get convicted? I mean,
he's 8 counts, and most of it's because he's secretly recording. You'll hear in here, he knocked on strangers' doors and said, I have to go to the bathroom so bad. Can I use your bathroom? And then he would go in with the meta glasses and just make fun of their house, make fun of their shit, and then put it out. And these people are just trying to be nice to him.
Right.
And they're suing.
And that's why.
Or they already got him around.
Thousands of kids are watching that thing.
No shit.
How
about my kid watching it? That's what I'm saying. And I'll tell you what he did. I'll show.
Is the dollar. He makes money off this.
Police say Vasquez dumped 50 raw eggs over his head outside this Ralph's Italian Ices here in Central.
Exactly.
There's the incident up the road inside Wing Wah Chinese restaurant, where police say
something went wrong at Wing Wah. Something terrible. He took beans. He took another big giant bucket of fucking black beans. But here's the thing. He then dumps it over himself inside the restaurant and then runs out, leaving them to clean it up.
Yeah,
that's the part that
if he came in here now with beans,
I'd fucking be pissed.
Yeah.
I'd be really pissed.
Run after him, kick the shit out of him? How pissed would you have to be? If it was eggs, maybe.
I don't know if I would do that because
you're not a violent man.
No, but yeah. I am, but well, no, it depends. But I don't need an arrest. I don't need an assault charge.
He spilled the beans.
Why are you getting in trouble for that?
Because you know I would. If you went after the kid, you know you're good.
He did this shit.
I understand.
There used to be, he got what was coming to him.
Yes. Okay.
When did that change?
All right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I hear exactly
Let's go
what
back
you're
to
saying.
that.
But I'm not going to put my hands on the kid. I'm not doing it. Or a 21-year-old, even though he's an adult. I'm not putting my hands on anybody.
Let him sit there and bleed.
The only time I was going to put my hands was when some guy came in here screaming at me that he thought I slept with his girlfriend, and I didn't.
Okay. What's different from screaming, put it in my ass?
He kept... I'm sorry.
That's funny?
That's funny.
You slept with my girlfriend!
No, he was serious. She was out there, and he came in, he goes, and he starts screaming about me and another guy, naming the guy, I'll fuck you up, I'll fuck you up. So I sat here. I did nothing. And then when he came in and he started coming up this way, I got up, and he was a big jacked up. I figured he was out of his mind, and I just started fucking screaming at him like just loud, pointing. And he walked away, and he's like, "Yeah." And I go, I said, "Sure, walk away." He probably would have killed me, but
most people that loud.
Nah, I figured
they're
just get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to sit
here
and take you fucking screaming at me. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm really angry. They're all angry because they made me a mess.
The restaurant releasing this surveillance video to show what they were subjected to, all for likes on social media.
Give me 50 K, we'll do more!
But the felony counts were far worse. Authorities telling us Vasquez unlawfully recorded 2 private homeowners with an undercover camera in Selden and Center Reach to mock them for allowing him inside.
Because they were kind, and they let somebody into the house claiming that they had to use a bathroom in an extreme way.
Tough Knuckles, not so tough as he then bolted from us at the courthouse, free till his next court appearance, but shielded by friends who came here mostly to twerk.
When your video causes someone else harm or embarrassment, then you've crossed the line.
And crossing the line means consequences. Class E felonies. Kyle Vasquez, a.k.a. Tommy Tough Knuckles, due back in court on June 30th.
Tommy Tough Knuckles, the end of the month. And there's all kinds of free Tommy Tough Knuckles. Isn't there a real crime going on? We got to bust this guy.
There is right here. You can literally kill somebody in Rochester, New York with a handgun. You have no permit for go before Democratic and former community activist Judge Van White in city court for arraignment and be sent home with no bail. Manslaughter first and gun charge. And bye-bye.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Right.
We'll
so,
see.
like, that's people's point.
That's
it's like,
happening now.
why are we not fighting? Who gives a shit about this guy? But there's that. But the thing is that most people in the suburbs are hit with Tommy Tough Knuckles doing things, and you can't. You can't.
And that's why there's not kids playing outside.
Why?
Because of this shit.
Well, Tommy Tough Knuckles is outside.
You don't want to have your kids. You want to protect them.
From this stuff?
There's no football in the streets, baseball. The only pickup game is
but
basketball.
We were fucking mean to each other, though, when we were kids.
Yeah, I think you fought, too.
Yeah, we did.
Now it's knives and guns.
Well, see, that's
I've heard that a lot from older guys, even older than you.
No,
back in our day,
I'd
say 70.
Yeah.
In our day, we fought it out, we shook hands.
Yeah.
Now, and this was 30 years ago.
Right.
They were telling me this story. Now you got to worry about knives and guns and people just go
You
crazy.
do. There were starting to see some guns 30 years ago. I remember a kid in college opening up a glove box in his car and a 9mm fell out and I fucking shit my pants. And I was wondering why he had that. So that was like my first experience with a gun. Maybe not. I don't remember anybody else having that ever. I don't think he ever used it in a violent way. Right. I don't know why he had it. I just remember like going, I ain't riding with this guy again. We all thought he was in the mafia.
I knew a guy that took a gun on a boat.
Yeah,
like, dude, what do you think we're gonna?
Right.
Need this for?
Hey, the shark jumps up. Yeah, fuck these guys.
Hey, that's fine. That's total spectrum of what you want.
You're right.
I get it,
But this stuff, while I can see some funny, it's annoying.
What happens with TikTok? And I don't know if you knew this. If you get enough videos, they will start paying.
Yeah. No, you have to get enough likes to the or views. Yeah.
Views? Okay.
If it's so many or followers, excuse me. If you get so many followers, they will start paying you on the number of views per video, I think. Or maybe it's just the number of views per video, nothing to do with followers. But you're right, they do. And sure, so people are doing this. And Tommy Tough Knuckles, so then my son says to me, oh yeah, and starts showing me videos where they were calling a strip club in Buffalo repeatedly. Like, because you can star 6-7 and just asking for club soda. Okay. And guy goes, well, you guys got the day off from school? It's like the third call for fucking club soda. What the fuck's wrong with you? And once you guys, what do you, what? Because, yeah, so it's one kid doing it, one kid filming it. And Jameson is there. I don't know what he was doing. I don't think he was filming when he was not the one talking, but he did eventually talk. And the guy goes, won't you guys get a fucking life and do something? And the guy goes, yeah, like work at a strip club. Who could have said that?
Oh, right.
Who said that?
Thinking of this, we used to call. This happened a couple nights. Kids were left alone. Look in the paper when the want ads.
Yeah.
And then I would call up and make my sisters laugh. Yeah, I have. Hello. Yeah, I see in the paper you have a lot for sale. Yeah. Yes, we do. A lot of what? No, a lot. Yeah, I see a lot. A lot of what? No, it's just a lot. I know. I'm reading
So you were Tommy Tough Knuckles without the technology. It's the same thing.
I remember
fucking annoying. Fucking annoying.
I remember my sister Tracy laughing her ass off.
See,
did that a couple times.
Right. It's the same thing.
We
it's
were
like
12.
Okay, but right, and he's 21. I got you. But my point is that this shit has been going on forever. Technology now makes it so we can all see it, so we can all be annoyed by it.
Right.
The glasses now that can record the videos that you don't even know you're being recorded, and
privacy is going to be a big thing in the future.
Act accordingly. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. It is gone. We will take a moment. When we come back, Ozempic.
What is that?
Oh, well.
Weight loss?
Yeah, weight loss. Hang on. Yeah. Some guys are gaining some size, though.
I think I heard this.
Ozempic. I'm telling you.
Is it a side effect or?
Apparently.
Huh.
I think it's bullshit, but I'll explain why.
Okay.
Right after this.
I was.